Hi, I'm Jasmine Nicole. Welcome to the Motivational Mystic, a space for authentic, higher conscious conversations to motivate, inspire, and empower. Thanks for listening. Each week, I'll drop a new conscious raising episode. Let's dive in. Some people are easily shaken when things don't work out the way they want it to, while resilient people can brush it off and say, okay, what's plan B? I briefly spoke about resiliency in a previous episode, and I want to expound upon it more today. Resiliency is not something everyone possesses. Resiliency is a superpower. It's a superpower because resilient people are not easily deterred or easily broken or dissuaded when they don't get what they want or when things don't work out the way they planned. Resiliency is really just having that internal faith and light that regardless of whatever setback or situation may come your way, you adapt a "this too shall pass" mindset and trust that it will. Resilient people have optimism. They're not a part of the hurt people that hurt people crowd who don't know how to keep a level of optimism, hope, and faith alive within themselves. The hurt people that hurt people crowd need to take out their trauma or dissatisfaction with their life or lack of accomplishments on other people to feel like they matter. Hurt people do not have to hurt people. That is a choice. Choosing to take out your frustrations, dissatisfaction, or grievances from your past traumas onto other people is a choice. It's a conscious choice because no one is forcing someone to behave that way. It's not optimal to behave in that manner, but people choose to do so. People who choose to go around hurting other people because they're wounded have unresolved trauma and tend to be narrow-minded because they rather take their problems out on other people rather than looking internally at their self and addressing their pain. If you're hurting inside, address it. Put on your big girl or big boy pants and address your inner turmoil. But don't take it out on other people. Be accountable for your own feelings and actions. Personally, I believe there are karmic repercussions for all of our actions, whether good or bad. Just because you're in a place of hurt or despair, deciding to tear someone else down or sabotage them won't fix anything. If anything, you're only creating negative karmic repercussions for yourself. And that karma may not happen instantly, but karma does not have an expiration date. So, the energy you put out into this world will eventually come back to you. I've seen this firsthand simply by learning from the actions of others. I've seen negative karma hit someone 10 years later after they've caused a lot of drama and dysfunction in other people's lives because they're just acting from a place of hurt and unresolved trauma, for it to really just come back on them later. The same thing they were doing to others ended up coming back around and happening to them. The irony is for hurt people who act this way, once their karma finally does catch up to them, they are the first ones to play victim and throw up their hands and sing the woe is me blues. You hear them complaining like, "What did I do to deserve this?" Or, "Oh, why me? Why me?" And it's like, why not you? You left the path of destruction all around you. Why wouldn't that eventually catch up with you? Did you really think you were just going to live life trying to ruin other people because you feel broken and there wasn't going to be a residual effect from your actions? Unfortunately, there are some people out there that just aren't that aware, that conscious of the potential repercussions of their actions. These low vibrational people's first course of action is not to fix theirself, but to try to break someone else because they feel broken inside. And that's sad. I spoke about discernment in my last episode, episode 6, Breaking Ancestral Cycles and Using Discernment. Discernment is really helpful in identifying individuals who are leaving a path of destruction everywhere they go, because it may not always be done overtly. Discernment really emphasizes the notion When people show you who they are, believe them. You really don't want to entertain dysfunctional energy like that. And essentially, that is what it is, dysfunctional energy. Resilient people, on the other hand, don't have to tear people down to feel better about themselves. They don't have to smear someone's name or reputation to look good. Hurt people. Resilient people have healed. Resilient people don't really entertain low vibrational or small-minded folks if they don't have to. People with a "I'm going to get you back" or "I'll show you" attitude. Resilient people don't need to play in that lower vibrational game of tit for tat or getting even with people, because we know we will reap what we sow. Resilient people are human, of course, so they get mad, but they don't have to get even. You know what we do? We avoid those cyclones of chaos. They don't even exist on our plane. Resilient people are conscious enough to know the energy you put out into this world will come back to you eventually, whether it's good karma or bad. It always gets delivered to its rightful recipient at the right time. Leave these narrow-minded people in their own little world, wagging their little finger because they're triggered by your resiliency. Since they're triggered, they may want to project that onto you when they're really just hurting themselves and generating bad karma. Hurt people who operate on a low vibrational level don't have the bravery to take a hard, honest look at themselves. They find it easier to take their problems out on other people, deflect or avoid, or just be a flat-out nuisance to anyone they feel triggered by. Resiliency is often achieved through experiencing many setbacks and disappointments in life, where you learn to accept the things you cannot control, and you don't dwell on it because you pivot to focusing on what is in your control. A resilient person can be a good example of a hurt person that doesn't have to hurt other people. People have this false notion that resilient people don't seem to be fazed by much, and that's not the case. It's not like resilient people don't have problems, but they deal with them. They don't project them onto other people, and they don't visibly carry their problems with them everywhere they go, like a weight on their shoulders. Resilient people don't make their pain other people's pain. They compartmentalize. There's a time and a place for everything, and how people deal with the problems that pop up in their life is specific to each individual. We all have different coping mechanisms, but for the most part, resilient people don't share their problems with anyone who's willing to listen. Everyone has problems. Resilient people just don't dwell on them. Resilient people, more often than not, have experienced many phoenix rising from the ashes moments, where they may feel down temporarily, but you're never out, because that's just a temporary season in life, not a permanent outcome. That is just a part of the cycle of life. Peaks and valleys, highs and lows, but resilient people take it on the chin and learn from life's lows and enjoy the high points. Life is a journey, and we're all just learning as we go along for the ride. Resilient people have a high emotional intelligence, a high EQ. They can rise above their hurt and pain and still be a loving person. They can rise above the hurt and still make something of themselves. They don't sit around and lick their wounds. They rise and soar to new heights. Resilient people live a life of integrity. When you know better, you do better, right? Resilient people are magnetic. You can be a silent and poised person, and your resilient energy captivates a room. How you speak, how you carry yourself, how you interact and integrate into different social settings is noticed. Resilient people don't always have to be the loudest in the room to be noticed. They just have that spark that makes them stand out. Resiliency is not only a mindset, but also a deep inner knowing that things are either a lesson or a blessing, and you can weather whatever storm comes your way. In those low moments, a deep level of patience has to be exhibited, and resilient people understand that. There is a level of authenticity resilient people possess that attracts people to them. Their inner light shines bright, and it attracts people to them like a moth to a flame. People sense that inner light, and they are either attracted to it, or others may be repelled by it. But nonetheless, resilient people stand out in any room that they enter. Their optimism, inner wisdom, and joy is infectious. Resilient people have learned to not let anything or anyone steal their joy. When a person is committed to maintaining peace and joy, it's a choice. It's all a choice. Resilient people choose to be authentic. They choose peace and joy over chaos. The beautiful thing about resiliency is that it's possible for anyone to attain, but you have to do the inner work to achieve it. Like I mentioned before, hurt people, but resilient people heal themselves. Resilient people don't walk around being performative and needing external validation to feel like they matter. People may know your trials and tribulations, your highs or your lows, but despite all of that, as a resilient person, you're not someone that's easily defeated. You are not a person that has let life harden you despite your circumstances or things you've been through or even survived. You still have a smile on your face. You are able to dust yourself off, walk around as if you haven't been fazed by anything you've been through. Resilient people are more goal and action-oriented rather than self-defeated or downcast. Resilient people don't need other people's approval. They just do what feels authentic to them, focusing on achieving their goals with persistence. Resilient people are movers, shakers, and poppers who get things done, and they don't get bothered or fazed by the naysayers. Resilient people don't have a fear of looking internally. Everyone has insecurities, but resilient people don't wear them on their sleeves and don't take them out on other people. Resilient people just accept who they are and what they come with and show up as the best version of their self. They don't make their problems their whole personality. Resilient people have that perseverance to know the best is yet to come. So if you're listening to this and you're not a resilient person, that's okay. If you're inspired by hearing this message and want to work on becoming a resilient person, it's never too early or too late to start, but it is a choice. Resiliency is a choice of how you want to show up in this world and how you want to show up in your life, and it shouldn't be predicated on anyone's external approval. Resilient people don't walk around being performative and needing external validation to feel like they matter. I think that's a big problem in our society today, honestly, and I believe social media plays a big role in that. People feel like they have to perform or be entertaining to captivate other people's attention and to keep attention on them. You don't have to do that. You're not a freaking cartoon character. You're a real person in the real world, and it's okay to show up as your authentic self. Resilient people don't have to conform to what other people are doing to receive validation or attention. They just have to be themselves, and they're able to captivate people based off of their authentic energy. They are not a carbon copy of whatever is relevant on social media for the week. Resilient people know who they are, and there's nothing wrong with knowing who you are and standing in that. They are a beacon of light and really standing 10 toes down in their authenticity, grounding deeper into that authenticity to the point where they become unshakable. I mentioned earlier that resilient people have survived some of the lowest of lows in life, and it hasn't broken them, so they gain a sense of trust and flexibility when it comes to life. More importantly, acceptance. Acceptance when things don't go their way, and gratitude and appreciation when things do. Trusting the energetic alignment of those two dichotomies, when things don't go your way, you accept it for what it is. And when things do work out for you, having gratitude that it was all aligned perfectly to do so. But either way, it's all about alignment. What's aligned for you in that moment will work out, and what's not, won't. No one gets through life unscathed. We all have baggage, but resilient people don't need to drag anyone into their drama. They deal with their baggage. Resilient people are not cyclones of chaos. They don't suck other people into their vortex of BS and drama. Resilient people uplift the vibes of the spaces they enter. They are the opposite of a vibe killer. They are vibe setters. Resilient people are vibe setters, honey. Vibe setters. Most importantly, resilient people live in truth. It's not like they've never made mistakes in life. They're not perfect. However, they know how to take accountability for their actions and don't make excuses. Resilient people are students of life. They're constantly learning and adapting to their surroundings. Obviously, resilient people can get upset when things don't work out the way they wanted it to, but they don't dwell on it. They don't stay stuck in that mindset. So, if you want to live a life of resiliency, don't be afraid to take an honest look at yourself and face your problems. Don't take them out on other people. Deal with them and be adaptable. What's meant for you will happen. I've echoed this sentiment a few times in the last couple of episodes, and I'll mention it here again today. I believe it is vital for people to understand that we are all the authors of our life story. It's your story. So how do you want it to play out? What do you want to create? What's the foundational baseline of it? Agony or peace? Despondency or resiliency? Tough times don't last, but tough people do. And the quality of life you live is ultimately up to you. The quality of life you live is ultimately up to you. Well, that's all I had for today, everyone. Until next time, goodbye.